All right, for this video, I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna be doing for my DIY underglow for my wells look like now. And these are DIY as well. I didn't buy the kit or anything like that. So you can see there that it is nice and red, but I used this little cheap strip and it's been working for a long time. You can see there, it's nice and red. But I'm gonna show you guys really quick what I'm gonna be using for this project. So for this project, I'm going to be using these Ozium lights that I got off of Amazon. I'll probably link them in the description, but these are 11mm diameter. So they do sell smaller ones if you do like that little tiny look of the bulb. You can definitely get that, the 6mm, and they're much smaller than that, but I did want the bigger ones because I want it to be a lot brighter. So these are actually considered the flush mount. So it actually does have a screw here, or a nut. You do drill the hole. It tells you what size to do, and then you push this guy through the hole, and then on the other side you would put this nut in, and it locks it in place, and it's nice and flush, so you don't have anything sticking out or anything like that. It's going to replace that little LED strip that I have already in my car. So I got a 2-pack. Well, they sell them for one each, but I got 2 of them. The only thing that I don't like about these is that it's expensive. So they're $10 for one light, which is a lot of money because it's just an LED, but they're very bright though, so that's the one good thing about it. It's an actual aluminum body, so it's not plastic, which is really good, and they're rated for 1 watt of power. So they should be pretty bright. I'll probably do a real quick test with the 12-volt battery source that I have, just to kind of show you what they look like. I'm gonna kind of go through what I'm doing in my car. I might not show the whole process because it's just 2 wires and it's pretty easy to do, but I'll show you guys what I'm gonna be doing just to kind of give you guys an idea. And you do have to drill, so that's the one thing about these a lot of people don't like, is you have to drill into the plastic underneath. But OEM Subaru ones have a hole and those just pop in, but they're like $60 something for the kit, so this is a much cheaper option. Okay, so first things first, you're gonna have to remove your old wiring. You don't have to disconnect the battery for this. They're not really, powered where you're gonna like blow a fuse or anything like that. But this is my DIY, so you're gonna see some wires in there. They don't come like that from the factory, so just keep that in mind. But all I'm gonna be doing is trimming this wire that I have going across, because I was using the power from this side going to the other side to provide power to the passenger side. So that's one of the things you're gonna have to do, is run some wire. And so you could buy yourself something like this, which is 20 gauge 2 wires, so you can definitely make it easier and a much cleaner install. And this is about a 60-foot roll for about $9 on Amazon, so it's really cheap, but it's very good quality wire, and you can use that for your wiring across. Now you could use some of these Wago connectors that I do have here if you want a much cleaner look whenever you're doing 2 inputs of power, 2 outputs, and then having 1 negative into your car. But we'll get down that road when we get there. So I'm just going to show you what I'm going to be doing really quickly. So pretty much after removing my rat's nest of wires here, essentially what I have is just 2 wires coming from the passenger side, spliced into an additional 2 wires here, which are providing your power and ground, which my ground wire is here for this Wago connector, so I'm just going to reuse that. All you got to do is trim it from there. And then for my power source, I do have it coming in off the fuse block, so I'm going to be reusing that. But what I'm going to do is show you guys what I'm going to drill here so I can get this LED in. So pretty much you're just going to mark where you want this to go, and right here is the OEM drilled spot for it. So I may just go ahead and just bore that guy out with the 7/16 inch drill bit. That's what you're going to be using, and that's going to get you the roughly around the 11mm size hole that you need. So this I've already test fit, and it's just a little bit tinier than the diameter of this guy here, so you're gonna go ahead and drill that out. Now the thing is you got to be very careful when drilling, because you don't want to hit anything behind this. So I'm going to go ahead and drill this off camera so that I can pay attention to what I'm doing, and then I'll come back and show you guys what I did. So a quick tip, because it's hard to get in here with that drill bit being so long, all I did was I just bent this forward, and I was able to get the drill bit to barely squeeze in there. but I got it. So now all you have to do is just feed the wire through, and then pops right in like so. The good thing, like I said, it's flush mount, so just to show you guys how that looks, it's pretty flat, so it's not going to stick out or anything like that. That's why I opted for these. And then all you do is just feed the nut from the back of the wire up to the top, and then you just tighten it on there. It comes with two, so you can use that as a lock nut type thing, but I'm just going to go ahead and use one because it's not going to go anywhere. So you just kind of spin it on there, and like that, it is on there. It's not loose, not wobbling around, so looks very good, and it's flat, you know, so there's no, it's not like this cheap thing right here that I had there. So looks really good. We'll go ahead and do a test turning it on. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a battery real quick, and we'll test out to see what this looks like. So my light is going to be on because I have to see what I'm doing, so it's just going to be however much brightness it produces here. And there it is, much brighter, looks very good. And as the video goes on, I'll show you exactly how I'm going to wire it and stuff like that, but that actually looks really good. So we're going to continue on from here. So I forgot to mention to do like a before and after, so I'm going to go ahead and hold this up like it was. So that's how much light that this LED strip produces. And then we're going to go ahead and do this guy here. So you can see there it's much brighter, and it actually overpowers this LED strip here. So if it's worth it, it's definitely going to be worth it, because look how bright that is. And it definitely looks good too. So the good thing about this is that it comes with 3.3 feet of wire, so you might not even need to buy the additional wire, but I went ahead and just bought any extra wire anyway, just in case. Just I can have, you know, extra wire for my little projects that I'm doing underneath here, such as my gauges and stuff if I want to rewire them. But as you saw right there, I just used that tool just to pull it through, so that way you can get it from one side to the other, and there's like a little space right here where you're able to pull the wire through. So from what you can see, this is from the passenger side. It definitely reaches towards where the fuse box is at, so it's going to be really easy to go ahead and merge these two guys together, the two positives and then the negatives, to get the power. So like I said, you really don't need it, or if you want to use some of this extra wiring, you can clip it off and then use that to tie in, or use the Wago connectors like I am. That'll kind of get you a really good connection. Just remember to check before you drill. Make sure there's nothing behind here that you're going to hit. All that's left to do for this part here is feed the locking nut and then securing it onto the screw. And that's pretty much it, and then we'll go on to the rest of the wiring. So the one thing that I do use for all my wiring is this ferrule terminal kit, which is really nice. So what it's going to do is it's going to give you a nice solid connection using these little ferrule connectors. All you can do is take those two wires, like both negatives, and then you twist them together and you shove it in here. and then you use this tool to crimp it. It gives you a nice solid connection and it won't get loose. Plus it'll keep your car from, you know, burning fuses out from a loose connection or things like not working. So I need all the connections to be nice and perfect and clean. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the 3M double-sided tape that I have, stick a piece in there and get the wire to get tucked in there. And it has a little zip tie connection on it, so you zip tie and it keeps the wire in place, so that way it's not loose and dangling. So if anyone is curious what I'm using to secure the wires that are like loose hanging like this, all I do is use these 3M little clips that I bought off of Amazon, and they allow you to stick the zip tie. There's multiple angles, so there's 4 of them. You can stick the zip tie through there like so, and then you put your wire there and then just zip tie it. And this 3M tape sticks really well to different surfaces, so that way you can use these inside the plastic so that you can hang up your wires with zip ties and secure them nice and neat. So the cool thing I like about these little Wago connectors is that all you do is flip that little lever like that, and you stick the wire in there, and then you close it, and it locks it in place, and it makes a nice solid connection. So what I'm going to be doing is I've already trimmed that wire that's back there. It's kind of hard for you to see it, but it's that bare wire that's loose right there. Just to give you an update of what I did. So first and foremost, you want to have the proper tools. So I love these automatic wire strippers. They work so well. But like I said, all you're doing is you're joining up both positive, both negatives to each light, right? And then you're going to do one butt connector to get both of those together, and then one single wire. This is going to be where you put the ferrule connector and go to the Wago connector. This is both the positive, same thing here. You're going to go both positives into one. I went ahead and used the butt connector, and then here you're going to put the other ferrule crimp, and then that goes to the positive. Now the reason I do it like this is because this wire is rated for up to 300 volts and it carries about 3 amps. This bulb here is only rated at 1 watt at 12 volts. So if you do the math, it's much lower amperage rating draw. It's about 1 amp versus what this can handle. So this wire won't burn. So that's why you want to make sure and use the proper wire that's rated for whatever you're doing. These wires here came with the kit, or the wire strips. So these were able to handle it, and I had no issues, no smoking, no issues like that. So all that's left to do now is I just have to remove the 2 positive side, connect the positive where that goes, and then the negative goes to the negative, and then I'll show you what the after, or the, you know, what it looks like once it's all installed. All right, really quickly I wanted to show you how these little ferrule crimps work. They work so well. So you just stick the wire in there, hopefully that's on camera. Stick the wire in there like so. Sometimes you can press the wire into it like the actual shielding, but sometimes it doesn't. All you do is you slide this into this crimping tool, squeeze it, and it's got all that force that it does on its own, and the wire gets locked in. I'm pulling on that very tightly, and what you have here is a little metal tip that makes the connection. So just as easy as that, and the good thing is you can remove these super easy. So the pin just goes into it like that, and you clip it shut, and it locks it in. All right, just like that, it's all done. Nice bright red LED there. Turn off the light on my head. There we go. Nice bright red LEDs. Complements everything else in the STI that's already lit up. So that's pretty much what it's going to look like if you guys do opt to get these types of red LEDs off Amazon. Much brighter, and they're going to look really nice at night, especially whenever you open the door and people can see it.